This is part 2 of the creatures, monsters, and beings of H.P. Lovecraft's universe. If you haven't seen part 1, I recommend checking it out. Number 9. Cthulhu. The Cthulhu, also known as the cosmic octopi, star spawn of Cthulhu, and as Zothians, are a species that bears a physical similarity to their leader, the Great Old One known as Cthulhu, but are of far smaller size. They arrived on Earth sometime during the Paleozoic era and are known to have waged war against the Old Ones. Despite their cephalopod-like appearance, they are actually terrestrial, not aquatic, and built their cities on dry land before they were sunk by a cataclysm. Originating from the planet Zoth, they are said to have come to Earth from an unknown region of space and began waging war against the Old Ones, who had already been inhabiting Earth. After an unknown period of time, peace was established between the two races, with the star spawn retaining all exposed lands and the Old Ones retreating to inhabit all of Earth's oceans. After a period of peace and apparent prosperity during which many cities were built, the lands on which the cities had been built sank into the sea for unknown reasons, including the city of R'lyeh, at which point all the Cthulhu present on Earth either perished or entered a slumber similar to their apparent ancestor Cthulhu. It is unclear at this point whether Cthulhu was present at the time R'lyeh sank, or whether he joined it at the bottom of the ocean at some later point. From this point on, they ceased to be a major power on Earth and were replaced by the Elder Things. Number 10. CHTHonians. These mighty burrowers bear little resemblance to anything else on this planet and may be some tiny form or fragmented species of the terrible Ghouls. Rarely seen, these entities live near the Earth's core, with only a few individuals visiting the upper strata and outer crust. They use telepathy to communicate with others of their kind anywhere in the world, perceive human minds, and telepathically control members of other species. They can tunnel through rock as if it were butter and do not need air to breathe. Adults can withstand tremendous temperatures, 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Furthermore, adults can create powerful earthquakes. Perhaps due to their alien makeup or heritage, CHTHonians are incredibly susceptible to water. While their slime coat protects them from small amounts of water, general submersion destroys them. While burrowing, these monsters seem to detect moisture and avoid large pockets or bodies of water. The eggs they lay resemble geodes or other spherical mineral formations. They are approximately 1 foot in diameter and have shells 2 inches thick. Number 11. Zoogs. Zoogs are a race of intelligent creatures that inhabit the forests of the Dreamlands. They are mortal enemies of cats, as they hunt kittens and are, in turn, hunted by adult cats. Interestingly, the Zoogs have the means to visit the Earth world, physically traveling to and from the Dreamlands at 2 locations kept secret from the general public. They don't stray far from these crossing points between the 2 worlds on the Earth side, but it's fascinating that this is another example that the Dreamlands are not just an astral dimension, but in some ways are more like a physical parallel world or a different vibrational level of the same universe. Number 12. Moon Beasts. The moon beasts were toad-like creatures that lived on the Dreamlands version of Earth's moon, active in the human slave and gold trade. They are pale, squat, toad-like creatures with superhuman strength and a nauseating odor, who have no eyes but a mass of pink tentacles at the end of their snouts. They are described as sailing in black galleys between the moon and the Dreamlands to trade rubies for slaves and gold at the port of Dilith-Leen, employing men of Leng disguised in turbans so as not to reveal their true nature. They communicate using flutes, at least with their servants, and remain silent even in death. Number 13. Flying Polyp. To humanity, these strange species are known, mostly, as flying polyps, although their true name is unknown. They traveled through space and discovered Earth about 750 million years ago. Upon their arrival, they built strange basalt cities where numerous tall, windowless towers rose. The polyps are rumored to have also built cities on 3 other planets in the solar system, and there is speculation that they may be on Mars, Neptune, and Venus. After arriving on Earth, the polyps fought against the great race of the Yth, but were eventually defeated and driven underground. About 70 million years ago, during the Cretaceous, the polyps emerged from their underground lairs to exact revenge by exterminating the Ythians in a single blow. In the years leading up to the modern era, the polyps abandoned the planet en masse, though many remained and sought out deep places to dwell, and they seem content to remain there, annihilating everything in their path. The entrances to their dwellings are primarily underground, sometimes within ancient ruins or great pits now sealed with stone, while others have delved into the ocean depths. The purpose or reason these polyps remained on Earth is unknown, and numerous tomes speculate on various factors. These tomes also speak of the polyps' great powers in manipulating the elements, particularly wind and air, which they can exert over enemies and cause terrible devastation. Number 14. Ghouls. Ghouls are a cannibalistic species that feed primarily, but not exclusively, on corpses. They are loathsome humanoids with rubbery skin, hoof-like feet, bestial canine features, and long claws. They dwell near crypts and cemeteries and travel through subterranean tunnels to feast on the indescribable pleasures of rotting remains. Like Zoogs, ghouls know passages between the living world and the dreamlands that allow them to cross from one realm to the other, rather than visiting the dreamlands while asleep, as humans do. In combat, they are known to use items such as tombstones, and were unfamiliar with other types of weapons until their battle with the moon beasts. The word ghoul, or ghoul, originates from Arabian folklore, where it denotes a creature that inhabits cemeteries and devours corpses, sometimes considered a type of genie. Like the deep ones, they seem to be connected to humanity in some mysterious way. Due to their appetite for corpse flesh, they are never far from human settlements and live secretly on the fringes of civilization. In times of conflict and war, when the human death toll mounts, ghouls gather to enjoy the bounty of misfortune. Some scholars believe that the macabre delight in dead flesh stems from the ability to consume the memories of the devoured, which are sweet to ghouls. Some are known to have dealings with witches, sorcerers, and those seeking unspeakable pleasures, while others view humans as nothing more than unprepared food and readily attack anyone who foolishly ventures into their dark domain. There are human ghoul cults that offer their members access to special banquets where they can enjoy forbidden foods. These cannibal cults appear to operate at all levels of society, from elegant and sophisticated soirees for the jaded, wealthy elite to the dark, earthly gatherings of those at the lowest level of the social order, who have no choice but to dine on the free meat available at any cemetery. Number 15. Great Race of Yth. The Great Race of Yth, also known as Ythians, is a fictional species of intelligent extraterrestrial entities. Their most notable characteristic is their ability to exchange minds through coercion with individuals of other species, even across vast spans of time and space. They are often depicted as large, conical invertebrates, the form of a prehistoric Earth species into whose bodies the Ythians projected their minds. In this incarnation, they built a flourishing civilization some 200 million years before the present day. Their civilization, as it existed in Earth's distant past, was eventually exterminated by a race of even older extraterrestrial beings known as the flying polyps, against whom the Ythians had already fought several terrible wars. However, the Ythians survived by projecting their minds en masse into a future insectoid race that will one day inherit Earth long after humanity has disappeared. The original form of the Great Race on Yth is unknown. After migrating to Earth, they took up residence with a species native to our planet, beings shaped like large cones, with a muscular foot for mobility and 4 extendable arms or tentacles projecting from the apex. 2 of these arms ended in claws or pincers, the third in 4 grouped trumpet-like organs, and the 4th was topped with a yellow spherical head with 3 dark eyes, 4 flower-shaped hearing organs on top, and several green tentacles dangling below. Their blood was dark green and very thick. The Great Race spoke with their pincers to produce a series of clicking and scraping sounds, probably also with some form of telepathy, and wrote with the tentacles on their heads. They ate and drank using their red, trumpet-like organ. Food was described as a gray, almost liquid substance. The great race shared only two senses with humans, hearing and sight. The great race was asexual and reproduced through seeds placed in water. However, due to their longevity, which could last several thousand years, reproduction rarely occurred. The Ythians acquired highly advanced and evolved minds that allowed them to project their consciousness across time and space, taking over the minds of other creatures, not only from other eras, but also from other planets and universes. The Ythians lived in a society described as similar to authoritarian socialism, in that all vital resources were distributed equitably among individuals. Their leaders were elected to power by those who passed certain tests that qualified them to vote. While crimes were rarely committed, they were effectively punished through various means, such as deprivation of privileges, imprisonment, execution, or inflicting severe emotional trauma on the perpetrator. Punishment was not applied until the motive for the crime was clearly understood. Much of their culture lay in the accumulation of knowledge from all times and places. When a Ythian exchanged their mind with that of another creature, they would do their best to learn everything about the society, art, and scientific knowledge of the time. Meanwhile, the possessed creature's mind was exhaustively interviewed or interrogated by specially trained Ythians who, while often speaking the language of those they interrogated, used machines to reproduce the languages of those they could not. Although natural death rarely occurred among Ythians in their time, when it did, they were ceremonially buried. Number 16. Bowls. Bowls are enormous, slimy, worm-like creatures, at least several hundred meters long. Because they avoid daylight and are covered in a gooey substance, their features are almost impossible to distinguish. They live in the Valley of Panath, in the Dreamlands, and are also known to inhabit the planet Yth, where they have fought and emerged victorious against the native Yadithians. Bowls are gigantic, burrowing, worm-like horrors. They are not native to Earth, and none appear to have been brought here for more than brief periods, thankfully, as they seem to have ravaged and devastated other worlds, consuming them from within. How they reach new worlds is unknown, but theories include magical invocation to swim through space. Some speak of bowls traveling through the Dreamlands, slicing their way through the interdimensional fabric of dreams to reach distant places. They are rarely seen in daylight, and only on planets they have completely conquered, as they dislike direct light, though it causes no visible harm. Likewise, water does not affect them, as it does other worm-like entities of the mythos. Number 17. Fire Vampire. Fire vampires are living extensions of the cosmic entity known as Phathagua. Traveling through the cosmos in their interstellar ship, the comet Ktinga, they appear as reddish electrical discharges similar to lightning bolts. All fire vampires are red, except for Phathagua himself, who is blue. They feed on the life energy of sentient creatures. The victim bursts into flames during this process, and the fire vampires consume their essence and memories through heat rather than internal metabolism. These stolen memories are incorporated into Phthagua's gestalt consciousness, allowing them to better learn and adapt to further consumption. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss the next installments on creatures from the Lovecraft universe. Leave your comment and feel free to recommend topics for future videos.